What's good, everyone? Zex here. So, the young Yautja finally makes it back in the middle of the night and realizes the camp in Shadar is nowhere to be found. No traces at all. It almost seems in the woods as if nothing was ever here. Feeling alone and knowing what was out there, the young Yautja knew he had to prepare for the worst. So he gathered himself and started finding a place to hold down. But time and luck was not on his side. A red beam of light appeared out of nowhere and aimed directly towards his head. A plasma beam shot out of the trees towards him as he dodges just out of the way in time. But the moment he comes to his feet, a spear shoots right into his right shoulder, slamming and pinning him into a tree. The predator had followed him all the way. Standing in a tree above him, stalking the prey that interrupted his hunt. This predator jumps down from the tree and starts walking towards the pinned young predator. He pulls out another spear and throws it directly into the gut of the already pinned and injured young Yautja. The young Yautja reaches down and yanks that second spear out of him, throwing it to the ground, while still pinned by the first spear. The other predator, slowly still approaching him, retracts his wrist blades and brings his arm back, getting ready to thrust forward into the neck of the young Yautja. The young Yautja, desperate, rips himself off of the spear that he was pinned to, causing severe tear to his body. The spear behind him still sticking in the tree. The bigger Yautja standing in front of him with his wrist blades ready to pierce. The young Yautja, damaged and injured, feels a surge of aggression and strength that he did not realize he had, knowing he was outclassed and outforced by this other Yautja. He decided the only way he was getting out of this was more sacrifice. The bigger Yautja rammed his wrist blades into the young Yautja's gut. The young Yautja uses the opportunity and takes the hit to grab hold of the bigger Yautja and throws and jams both of them back into the spear, pinning the bigger Yautja onto the tree. The young Yautja uses all this new strength and grabs the head of the much bigger Yautja, and in one swift movement pulls the head clean off. The ripped off head drops to the ground, lifeless body left pinned to the tree. The young Yautja backs up off the spear and falls down to one knee, tired, injured, and exhausted. His hands fiddle. Out of nowhere, a smart disc flies through the air and severely wounds and injures even further the young Yautja's left shoulder. The young Yautja did not know or anticipate that there are clans that hunt in teams. The young Yautja could only advise to himself another tactical retreat, but could barely move. He gets hit again by another smart disc, but this time it sticks directly into his chest. The young Yautja is coughing up blood and is now laying on his back, holding his shoulder. This second predator comes right up and stands above him and pulls the spear out from the tree as the dead Yautja's body drops. The Yautja holds the spear above the young Yautja and is getting ready to pierce down onto him through his skull. The young Yautja starts to laugh. The bigger predator looks at him and notices something on the young Yautja's shoulder. The young Yautja had taken the plasma cannon off of the dead Yautja quickly before he fell and had attached it to his own body and immediately let loose a plasma shot, shooting the head clean off of this predator. After the young Yautja collected his thoughts, that sudden boost of strength had disappeared, and he felt the weight and pain from all his injuries. He can barely move. He thought to himself, "This is how I'm dead. This is how I go." He lets out a roar and yells, "Forget that. My first hunt was a success." And he pulls himself together and crawls around and gathers what he needs and starts to heal his wounds little by little. He crawls his way to a covered spot and starts to rest. As he wakes, he notices Shadar sitting in a tree above him. Shadar looks at him and starts laughing. "Though your training is not done, I believe you have something to say to me now." The young predator looks up at his uncle and loudly yells, "My name is Korvac, the Conquering King." Shadar jumps down from the tree and stands in front of Korvac and says, "Then it's time we get you trained up to be a proper conquering king. And it's about time I tell you about where you're from. But before any of that, you'll find next to you the spoils of your completed hunt. Their weapons are now yours to use if you want." The young Yautja, Korvac, had only one question beyond that. What clan did those Yautja belong to? Shadar said, "The Super Predator clan. You had killed one of their young bloods and their elites. I know they have an observer on the planet, but I do not know where he is." Well, thank you for listening. I look forward to doing the next part. If you have any questions, as usual, drop that comment or send me a message. And as usual, get good.